Have you ever wondered why Mother Nature would wait until right now to throw one of the strangest and most dangerous bomb cyclones of the winter at us? And honestly, how is this massive atmospheric shakeup going to impact the millions of our loved ones still on the road during these special days between Christmas and New Year's? It is Saturday evening, December 27th, and friends, we are watching the weather flip a switch that is going to make the drive home from the holidays feel like a true winter expedition. Just as we get ready to ring in the new year, it feels like the elements are challenging us with one of the most complex and hazardous setups we have faced in quite some time. I know that recent warm spell had many of us hoping winter had skipped town, but don't be fooled. Heavy snow and biting cold are knocking on the door again across a huge part of the country. But let me tell you why this isn't just your run-of-the-mill snowfall prediction. This system has a unique signature that the old-timers would have spotted a mile away. Stick with me, because in just under 5 minutes, I will show you how a pressure drop of 24 millibars is going to trigger an explosive storm this weekend. Proof that when the season naps, it wakes up grumpy. By the 8-minute mark, we will look at how the jet stream is taking a deep dive over the heartland, parking a low-pressure system right over the northern plains in a way that makes even seasoned forecasters nervous. When we hit 12 minutes, I will break down the exact snowfall numbers and severe weather timelines for over 50 cities, giving you the data emergency crews are using right now to keep folks safe. Everything I am sharing comes from reports updated less than 75 minutes ago by the National Weather Service and storm centers across the map as they brace for a historic event. At 18 minutes in, we will track the timeline for that bone-chilling Arctic air chasing the storm south, bringing a freeze that is going to push our power grids and our patience to the limit. Finally, around the 22-minute mark, I will explain why this isn't over yet, with a parade of Alberta clippers lining up to keep the snow flying well into January, making for a winter we won't soon forget. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's chat about why this specific bomb cyclone has the experts so worried, and why the signs were there if you knew where to look. You see, a bomb cyclone happens when air pressure plummets by at least 24 millibars in a single day, which is basically the atmosphere's way of hitting the turbo button on a storm. That kind of rapid power-up sets the stage for dangerous conditions right when our roads and airports are packed with families trying to get home. The main culprit here is a massive buckle in the jet stream happening this Sunday over the Midwest, creating a volatile setup that we in the business refer to as a loaded gun. Picture a low-pressure center spinning over Minnesota and the Dakotas, dragging warm moisture up from the Gulf while crashing it head-on into frigid air from Canada. We aren't talking about a few flurries or a passing shower that might delay your dinner plans. This is a whole different beast. The reality is much starker, with some northern spots looking at 2 to 3 feet of snow, enough to bury cars and shut down entire towns. The winds are going to be ferocious too, with gusts screaming at 50, 60, or even 70 miles per hour, which is easily enough to snap power lines and leave folks in the dark. On top of the snow, parts of the Ohio Valley are facing a severe weather outbreak on Sunday, forcing first responders to battle ice in one spot and thunderstorms in another. This system is dragging a massive cold front that stretches all the way from Texas and New Mexico right up into New England, turning the whole map into a battle zone. By late Sunday and into Monday, that Arctic air is going to sweep in, dropping temperatures so fast it will remind us just how small we really are compared to Mother Nature. Looking ahead, the jet stream is going to stay tilted out of the northwest, keeping the door open for more storms and a rough start to the coming weeks. Now, let's get personal and talk about what this monster storm means for your neighborhood, covering more than 50 metro areas, starting with the ones in the bullseye. We have to start with the northern plains and upper Midwest, where things are going to get ugly fast this weekend, catching a lot of holiday travelers off guard. If you are in Minneapolis or St. Paul, brace yourselves. This could be one of those historic dumps of snow that families will be telling stories about for generations. We are looking at a foot to a foot and a half of snow paired with wind chills that are downright dangerous and whiteout conditions that will make driving a nightmare. Folks in Fargo, Grand Forks, Duluth, and Bismarck might see even more, potentially racking up 18 to 24 inches or better where the band's set up hardest. Further south, in Milwaukee, Madison, and Des Moines, you aren't off the hook either, with 8 to 14 inches likely and winds that will cut right through you. Over in the Great Lakes, the lakes themselves are going to fuel the fire, adding lake effect snow to the mix and creating a double whammy for anyone nearby. Cities like Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, and Buffalo need to be ready for heavy snow and howling winds that could bring visibility down to zero. Rochester, Syracuse, and Erie are sitting right in the splash zone for that lake enhancement, which means they could end up with the deepest snow piles of all. The Ohio Valley is in a particularly tricky spot, sitting right on the line where winter's chill clashes with volatile storms. For Cincinnati, Columbus, and Indianapolis, expect a messy switch from heavy snow to severe thunderstorms, a headache for anyone trying to manage the roads. Pittsburgh and Charleston are likely staying on the snowy side of the line, but that just means preparing for a heavy, wet blanket of white. Up in the Northeast, winter is definitely making an entrance, though how much snow you get depends entirely on exactly where the storm tracks. Albany and Boston should plan for a good amount of snow that could easily gum up the works for commuters and travelers. Meanwhile, New York City, Philly, and D.C. might see more rain or slush, but a slight shift in the storm's path could change that forecast in a heartbeat. Now, let's shift our focus to the south and southeast, where the holiday peace might be interrupted by some nasty thunderstorms. If you are in Nashville, Atlanta, or Birmingham, keep an eye on the sky, because damaging winds and even tornadoes are a real possibility while everyone is trying to get home. Charlotte and Raleigh could see supercells popping up too, bringing hail and strong winds that no one wants to deal with this time of year. The threat extends all the way back to Dallas, Houston, and New Orleans, with that volatile weather riding the front line across the south. Out west, Denver, Seattle, Los Angeles, you might miss the storm itself, but you will definitely feel the chill as that Arctic air spreads its reach. Let me walk you through the next 48 hours, hour by hour, so you can plan exactly when to hunker down and keep your family safe. Can you imagine a storm so powerful it changes the way we look at winter? Well, Saturday night is when the gears start turning on this monster, but Sunday morning, that is when it truly explodes. And by the afternoon, the Ohio Valley is going to be facing a severe weather outbreak that we will not soon forget. By Sunday evening, the snow is going to be coming down hard across the upper Midwest, setting the stage for a treacherous Monday morning commute. And folks, just when you think you can catch a breath, Monday afternoon hits us with an invasion of Arctic air that cuts right to the bone. Come Monday evening, the heart of the storm will finally drift off into Canada. But do not let your guard down, because freezing air is going to flood south. Tuesday might bring clear skies, but it will be deceptively dangerous with bone-chilling cold gripping the east. Now, I need to have a serious chat with you about what this Arctic blast really means for our temperatures. It is going to be a dramatic shift across the map, and honestly, it is going to test the toughness of our communities like never before. Up in the northern plains and upper Midwest, the drop is going to be staggering. We are looking at readings plummeting 30 to 40 degrees in just 12 hours, creating a situation that is nothing short of life-threatening. If you are in Minneapolis or Fargo, you will start Sunday in the relatively mild 20s or 30s, but by Monday night, you will be shivering in temperatures well below zero. With wind chills that low, frostbite is a real danger to you and your loved ones. For my friends in Chicago, Milwaukee, Detroit, and Cleveland, get ready for a shock to the system. You are going to crash from the 30s and 40s on Sunday all the way down to single digits and teens by Monday evening, which is going to be a nightmare for pipes and power grids. This cold air has some serious momentum too. It is going to push all the way down to Texas and the Gulf Coast by Tuesday and Wednesday, bringing a hard winter freeze to places that just are not set up for this kind of cold. Cities like Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, and Birmingham could see the thermometer drop 20 to 30 degrees as that front sweeps through. That is a massive headache for farmers and a real stress test for our local infrastructure. But here is the kicker. This weekend's bomb cyclone is not the end of the story. The atmosphere is staying active, priming the pump for more storms and living up to those ancient predictions about a harsh, unforgiving winter. We have got a parade of Alberta Clippers lining up to race out of Canada all next week. That means we are looking at round after round of snow, keeping the pressure on folks who are already trying to dig themselves out. I genuinely believe January is going to kick into high gear very quickly. This storm pattern is locking in, and it is fulfilling exactly what the old-timers warned us about, a winter that means business. Let me walk you through exactly how to get ready based on where you live, because taking these steps now, before the storm hits, could literally be the difference between staying safe and finding yourself in a life-or-death situation. If you call the Northern Plains or Upper Midwest home, places like Minneapolis and Fargo, you are in the bullseye for wind and snow. Please have all your storm prep done and dusted by Saturday evening. Make sure your pantry is stocked with food and water, grab your medications, and check your flashlights and batteries. And do you have a backup heat source? You might need it if the power goes out for a few days. I am begging you, stay off the roads from Sunday morning through Monday evening. Blizzard conditions are going to turn highways into traps, and you do not want to be the one stranded out there in the whiteout. For the Great Lakes crew, Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, Buffalo, you know the drill. But this is serious. Prepare for a long stretch of nasty weather with lake-effect snow that can change from a flurry to a wall of white in seconds. Down in the Ohio Valley and Southeast, Nashville, Birmingham, Atlanta, your threat is different but just as scary. You need to be ready for severe thunderstorms that could bring a mix of dangerous hazards to your doorstep. Please have a plan in place. Know exactly where your safe room is, away from windows, because when a tornado warning hits during an event like this, every second counts. For my family in Texas in the South Central region, Dallas, Houston, Little Rock, keep your eyes glued to the weather reports. You need to be ready for those temperatures to drop like a rock. Over in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, Albany, Boston, and the interior, you are looking at a classic winter mess. Expect moderate to heavy snow that is going to make travel difficult, if not impossible. Even out west in Denver, Salt Lake City, and Albuquerque, you are going to feel the ripple effects. Once this storm moves on, brace yourselves for a deep freeze that will settle in behind it. Before I sign off, I want to talk about the bigger picture here. This bomb cyclone is not just a one-off event. It is a signal of what we are facing as a community for the rest of the season. This system marks a huge shift back to the kind of traditional hard-nosed winter weather we used to see. It is proof that the predictions of a harsh winter were spot on. We got a little spoiled by that warm spell, did we not? It fooled a lot of us into thinking winter had lost its bite. But now we are returning to the classic storm tracks that define a true winter season. The jet stream is set up to keep this active pattern going, which means we are likely going to see more storms rolling through January. It promises to be a winter that tests our endurance. I am especially worried about our elderly neighbors and vulnerable folks. A storm like this brings specific dangers for them, and it requires all of us to step up and be a real community. If you have seniors living alone nearby, please set up a system to check on them. Isolation is the real enemy during weather like this, and without support, it can become deadly. This is when our community networks really matter. Neighbors checking on neighbors. That simple act of kindness could save a life and provide the emotional support we all need when things get tough. Faith communities. You have a huge role to play here too. Offering spiritual comfort and practical help to those in need is what gets us through these dark, cold times. Let me sum this up with the 7 most critical things you need to know about this bomb cyclone. These are the facts that matter most when it comes to keeping you and your family safe. First off, we are seeing explosive cyclogenesis, a fancy word for a bomb cyclone. The pressure is going to drop 24 millibars in just 24 hours, creating chaos across a huge chunk of the country. Second, we are talking about massive snow totals. 2 to 3 feet could pile up in the northern plains and upper Midwest, with blizzard conditions that will make history. Third, severe weather is crashing the holiday party. Tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds are targeting the Ohio Valley and Southeast on Sunday, so keep your guard up. Fourth, get ready for the plunge. An Arctic blast is going to send temperatures crashing 20 to 40 degrees in a matter of hours, testing our homes and our patience. Fifth, this is just the beginning. The pattern stays active with Alberta clippers bringing more snow right through early January. A true winter of reckoning, as some are calling it. Sixth, travel is going to be a no-go. From Sunday through Monday, roads will be deadly or completely blocked. Do not risk it. You do not want to be stuck out there. Seventh, you are running out of time. The worst of it starts Sunday morning, so you need to act now. Do not wait until the first flake falls to start preparing. Have all your emergency supplies and safety plans locked in by Saturday evening. Once the weather turns, help might not be able to reach you, so you need to be able to stand on your own. Remember, these storms are dynamic. They change. The specific impacts will evolve as the bomb cyclone develops, and I will be here to refine the forecast as we get closer. I will be watching this system like a hawk 24/7, bringing you critical updates. Keeping you informed is my top priority because it could save your life. Please stay tuned to official weather sources and take every warning to heart. This storm has the potential to leave a mark, and we all need to be ready. Whether you are digging out in Minnesota, sheltering in Alabama, or bundling up in Texas, remember that preparation and faith are your best defenses for you and your loved ones. This has been your deep dive briefing on the bomb cyclone, the most dangerous winter event we have seen in a long time as we head into the new year. Until I am back with my next update, stay safe, stay prepared, and remember that Mother Nature moves fast with storms this powerful. Have you ever wondered if sharing a simple update could actually save the life of someone you love? Please, pass this warning along to your circle, because knowing what's coming makes all the difference. Is there anything weighing on your heart that I can lift up in prayer for you right now? Drop a note in the comments, and let's lean on each other through this rough patch. Send in the huge prayer for protection over your homes and families as we brace for this historic bomb cyclone and the wild weather trailing behind it. Look, this isn't just another snowy Tuesday. It's a real test of how ready we are, how strong our neighborhoods stand, and how deep our faith runs when things get tough. We are going to get through this monster storm side by side, tackling every curveball this unprecedented weather system throws our way. Moments like this really humble us, don't they? They remind us just how fierce Mother Nature can be and why sticking together matters so much. Let me pull you in close and break down exactly what's heading toward the big cities in the crosshairs of this massive system. To my friends in Minneapolis and St. Paul, you better bundle up because this beast is looking to dump the heaviest snow you've seen all winter. We're talking blinding whiteout conditions with flakes piling up at 2 to 3 inches every single hour come Sunday evening. So please stay off the roads. By Monday morning, the air is going to hurt. Wind chills could plunge to a bone-chilling minus 20 or even minus 30 degrees, which is downright deadly if you're stuck outside. Windy City family, Chicago is about to get a 1-2 punch of heavy snow followed by an Arctic blast that will freeze everything in its tracks. If you're flying out of O'Hare or Midway, pack your patience. De-icing crews are scrambling, but delays and cancellations are basically guaranteed for Sunday and Monday. Those of you living near the lakefront need to watch out because the water is going to churn up even more snow on top of what the storm already brings. Heading over to Detroit and the Michigan crew, driving is going to be a nightmare on major arteries like I-75, I-94, and I-96. On top of the main event, Lake Huron and Lake Michigan are firing up the snow machine, likely burying parts of western and northern Michigan even deeper. Cleveland and my Ohio folks, you are sitting right on the battle line where heavy snow turns into some nasty thunderstorms as you head south. The clock is ticking on this one because once the temperature nosedives, wet roads are going to turn into skating rinks instantly. Buffalo and western New York, you know the drill. Once the cyclone moves out, that classic lake effect engine kicks in and keeps the snow flying for days. The Tug Hill area might get absolutely buried under another 2 to 3 feet of powder even after the storm officially leaves town. For my Boston crowd and everyone in New England, you'll see a decent amount of snow, but the real headache is going to be getting around town. Don't be surprised if Logan Airport and nearby hubs grind to a halt Sunday night into Monday while this system rolls through. Nashville and the Tennessee family, I'm worried about you because these severe storms are hitting right when everyone is driving back from the holidays. What makes this scary is that tornadoes could touch down while the sun is still up, right when the highways are packed with cars. Birmingham and northern Alabama, please keep your heads on a swivel. This outbreak has the muscle to spin up some strong, damaging tornadoes. The sky is primed for supercells that could drop huge hail and whip up damaging winds all across the Tennessee Valley. Atlanta and North Georgia, you aren't out of the woods either. Damaging wind gusts and large hail are the big threats for millions of you on the road. Hartsville-Jackson is likely going to hit the pause button with ground stops, so expect a mess if you're flying through there Sunday afternoon. Dallas-Fort Worth, you're in for a wild ride with storms first, followed immediately by a temperature crash as that Arctic air slams into Texas. The team at DFW Airport is already on high alert, with de-icing rigs ready to go as they watch the weather turn on a dime. Houston and Southeast Texas, you'll get the storms too, but the real kicker is the freezing cold trailing behind that could hurt the farms. If you're using Bush Intercontinental or Hobby, keep an eye on your flight apps because Sunday evening looks pretty rough for air travel. Let's chat about what this monster storm is going to do to the roads and power lines that keep our country running. Major lifelines like I-35 up north, I-80 across the middle, and I-90 out east could essentially turn into parking lots. The road crews are heroes and have their plows ready, but this snow is coming down so fast they might struggle to keep up. If you have a plane ticket, brace yourself. This storm is going to trigger a domino effect of canceled flights from coast to coast. Huge hubs like Minneapolis, Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, and Atlanta are all smack in the middle of the danger zone. Do yourself a favor and check your flight status before you even drag your suitcase to the door on Sunday or Monday. As for the power grid, it's going to take a beating from the heavy wet snow weighing down lines combined with those howling winds. Utility trucks are staged and ready to roll, but getting the lights back on is going to be tough while the weather is still raging. Once the storm passes, the deep freeze is going to have everyone cranking their heaters, putting massive pressure on the grid. To my farming family in the upper Midwest, this cyclone is bad news for the herds, and you need to be ready. Please get your cattle and livestock behind the windbreak or into a barn because these wind chills are cold enough to kill. Dairy farmers, I know it's a hassle, but keeping the milking routine going and the equipment from freezing is going to be a battle. Our brave first responders are going to be stretched thin, dealing with emergencies across several states all at once. Think about the ambulance crews trying to drive through a blizzard. The best way we can help them is by staying safe at home so they don't have to come rescue us. Have you stopped to think about how quickly a freezing night can turn into a trip to the emergency room, with doctors bracing for everything from frostbite to accidental poisoning? Pull up a chair, family, because I need to be honest with you. This massive storm is just the opening act for what looks like a very wild January. The way the jet stream is setting up right now, it is basically rolling out the red carpet for storm after storm to hit us for the next 2 weeks. We are going to keep seeing those fast-moving systems diving down from Canada, dropping fresh snow across the northern states like clockwork. It really reminds me of those old-school La Niña winters we used to talk about, where bad weather would just march across the Midwest and Northeast one after another. If you get buried by this monster storm over the weekend, don't put the shovel away just yet. You are going to need it all month long. Our brave plow crews are going to be working overtime, and honestly, it is going to put a real strain on the town's budget and equipment. Look, for our community, this isn't just about snow and wind. It is a real test of how tough we are and how well we look out for one another. The neighborhoods that come out of this smiling will be the ones where folks actually talk to each other and lend a helping hand. It is so important to knock on your neighbor's door, especially the seniors, or anyone who might need a little extra help getting through this. I hope our local churches and centers open their hearts and their doors to look after the people who are most vulnerable right now. The local safety teams are already on the phone with state and federal folks to make sure help is ready when we need it. Any schools opening up as shelters need to make sure they are warm, stocked with supplies, and have enough kind people to run them for the long haul. For our local business owners, this storm is going to hit the pocketbook hard, and the pain will last longer than just a few snowy days. Don't be surprised if store shelves are empty or shops close early because trucks can't get through and nobody wants to drive in this mess. Your favorite restaurants and hotels are going to have a rough go of it, mostly because their staff simply won't be able to get to work safely. Factories really need to double-check their safety rules so the equipment doesn't freeze up and the workers stay safe in this bitter cold. Before I wrap this up, I have to be real with you. The window to get your home ready is closing very fast. Saturday evening is pretty much your last safe bet to get everything tied down before things get really ugly outside. If you haven't grabbed the essentials like food, water, medicine, and batteries yet, please go do it right this second. Make sure your car has a survival kit with blankets, snacks, water, and a shovel just in case you get stuck in a drift. Talk to your family today about how you will stay in touch if the cell towers go down or the power goes out. Check your furnace and backup heaters this instant because no repairman is coming out once those roads are covered in ice. This storm is going to challenge us in ways we haven't seen in years, so we all need to step up and handle it together. We are going to learn a lot from this that will help us next time, especially since this crazy weather seems to be happening more often. As we stare down this massive storm, just remember that a little preparation and a lot of faith in each other will get us to the other side. That is the full story on this historic weather event, covering everything from the science behind it to how we can keep our families safe. Please pass this along to anyone you love who might be in the path of the storm because being ready truly saves lives. I can't say it enough. Check on your neighbors, especially the old folks, because we are all family when the weather turns bad. Until we talk again, may God watch over you and keep your families warm and safe through the dark days ahead. Keep your ears open, stay ready, and never forget that we are so much stronger when we face the storm together, united in faith and love.